The start of the film, we see a pregnant woman in immense pain. She is completely alone, with no one to help her as she gives birth to her child. As soon as she holds her newborn, the entire village reacts with fear. People rush into their homes, some even locking their doors as if the woman is untouchable. The scene then shifts to a battlefield. The reason behind the war is never explained, but we are introduced to a soldier named Mark, who has been gravely wounded. He is in critical condition with little hope of survival. Other soldiers carry him to a medical camp where, despite the lack of proper facilities, he miraculously recovers. During his time in the camp, he befriends other injured soldiers. Eventually, they are all discharged and return home from the war. Mark takes his friends to his house first. Upon returning home, Mark is troubled. His child is nowhere to be found and his wife is missing. Suddenly, someone embraces him from behind, startling him. And here we learn that Mark is none other than the husband of the mysterious woman Naag. She never expected him to survive the war. They embrace emotionally, overwhelmed with love and relief. Naag then introduces their son to Mark. However, one of Mark's friends seems to have a sinister interest in Naag. Later, Mark visits the village with his friends, but he notices something odd. People behave strangely around him. No one sells him vegetables, and they avoid him entirely. Finally, he reaches a shop where an old woman scolds him, asking, "Do you still not know who you are living with? Your wife is a ghost." She urges him to look at Naag from beneath his legs to see the truth. Her son quickly silences her, and Mark's friends mock the old lady, finding her claims absurd. The next day, Mark's friends help repair his house. While working, they discover a buried body outside, wearing a wedding ring. Terrified, one of them tries to inform the others but is suddenly attacked by a swarm of bees, preventing him from speaking. Feels as if some supernatural force has stopped him from revealing the truth. Unable to speak, he writes a note warning his friends that Naag is indeed a ghost and that he saw her buried body. Shocked, the friends immediately pack their belongings and plan to leave the village, but they hesitate. Leaving Mark behind with a ghost feels wrong. At night, they secretly approach Mark, urging him to leave with them. But Mark refuses to believe their claims. Before they can escape, a young boy from the village arrives, pleading for help. He reveals that his mother, the same old woman who had warned Mark, has been killed, and he suspects Naag murdered her for exposing the truth. Now terrified, the friends fear that if they tell Mark the truth, Naag might kill them too. After helping with the woman's funeral, they return to Mark's house and once again attempt to take him away. Before they can say anything, Naag appears and invites them to dinner. Mark insists they join him and praises his wife's cooking. However, what appears to be a delicious meal to Mark is actually a plate of dried leaves and insects. Horrified but fearing Naag, they force themselves to eat. After dinner, they flee to a nearby house. Mark, confused by their behavior, follows them. Finally, they reveal the truth. They believe Naag is a ghost and they have seen her dead body. They urge him to leave before she harms him. Mark laughs off their concerns, calling them fools. He explains that when he was at war, the shopkeeper's son tried to assault Naag. In self-defense, she killed him and fled, but the villagers branded her a ghost to tarnish her reputation. Mark returns home, but something is off. His clothes are covered in dirt, as if he had fallen. When Naag asks him about it, he avoids answering and instead showers her with compliments, making her happy. The next day, they all visit a fair. Naag wears a mask to avoid recognition. Mark attempts to win a toy for Naag by knocking down cans in a game, but he keeps failing. Suddenly, the cans collapse on their own. This eerie event confirms the truth. Naag indeed has supernatural powers. That night, Mark's friends devise a new plan, to kidnap him and take him away from Naag. However, before they act, one of them suggests an alternate theory. What if Mark is the real ghost? After all, he was shot multiple times and still survived. This idea takes root in their minds and they decide to save Naag from Mark instead. One of Mark's friends, who had always harbored feelings for Naag, sees this as an opportunity. That night, they convince Naag to leave with them, claiming they are protecting her from Mark. Naag, as if already aware of the truth, silently complies. They board a boat to escape, but due to the extra weight, the boat struggles to move. Desperate, they throw their belongings into the water. When that fails, they suggest Naag leave her child behind, but she refuses. Mark sees them fleeing and jumps into the river, shouting, "I am not a ghost! Who told you that I am?" His words fall on deaf ears as the group panics. Desperate to confirm who the real ghost is, one of them looks under his feet and discovers the shocking truth. Naag was the ghost all along. Naag, now aware that her secret is out, drops her human disguise and reveals her terrifying form. She grabs one of them by the shoulder. The group rushes to a temple where they seek help from a monk. The monk forms a protective circle and begins a ritual to ward off the ghost. Before he can finish, Naag arrives, now in her spectral form. Mark, still blinded by love, tries to reach her, but his friends hold him back. Naag, enraged, levitates upside down and shrieks, "Why won't you let Mark come to me?" One of the men accuses her of killing the shopkeeper. In her defense, Naag insists that she did not kill him. He fell into the water and drowned. Another friend interjects she is a ghost and doesn't belong in the human world anymore. Hurt by these words, Naag begins to cry and tells them that she never meant to harm anyone and just wanted to spend more time with Mark. But they all wouldn't even allow her that. Mark, moved by her sorrow, begins to cry as well. Seeing his tears, Naag reaches out to wipe them, but her own tears fall instead. She finally confesses the truth to Mark that she died after giving birth to their son, but she hid her reality so she could stay with him. She asks him to promise that after she leaves, he will move on, remarry, and live a happy life. Mark, wiping her tears, tells her that he knew from the very first day that she was dead. But he didn't know where her body was buried. When he found out, he mourned over her grave before returning to home. That's why his clothes were covered in dirt. With this revelation, Mark embraces Naag. Seeing them together, even his friends are moved. They decide that Naag will always remain with Mark in some form. In the post-credit scene, we see that the group has turned their home into a haunted attraction, showcasing real ghostly encounters. And with that, the movie ends.